Hello there, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the Thames Valley. £1,000 worth of tools stolen from a van in Thatcham. A crime that takes just seconds but puts many small businesses at risk.
Also this Wednesday, ringing for the King. New recruits, some as young as 6, get ready for a cacophony of Coronation chimes.
Hip hooray for the King and Queen! Hip hooray for the King and Queen!
From processions in the playground to patriotic dance routines, our pupils are preparing for an historic weekend.
I'm really excited about it.
Queen Elizabeth was a great ruler, and I think King Charles will be too.
And will it be rain or shine for the Coronation weekend and for any street parties? I'll be back a little later with the full weekend forecast.
Good evening. A doorbell camera has captured the moment thieves stole £1,000 worth of tools from a driveway in Thatcham.
The burglars targeted the property at the weekend under the cover of darkness. Emma Pugsley is now warning others of the risks of leaving expensive tools in vehicles. Mel Blore has our story.
It took thieves just seconds to break into this van and steal £1,000 worth of tools. CCTV captured the men scouring the area in the early hours of Saturday morning. The tools, which were not insured, belonged to Emma Pugsley and her husband, who runs his own groundswork business.
You know, a disc cutter for a ground worker is something he uses all day, every day. But it's the kindest of our neighbours have offered their tools to us and said, you know, you can loan it until you buy more. So it's because of them, really, why we're still going. But I think, you know, much smaller businesses, to take a hit like that, will probably close them down.
Theft from vans is a major problem for tradespeople. When tools are stolen, it often means they can't work.
The average tradesperson's van carries more than £4,000 worth of tools, according to research. A recent poll of 500 tradespeople found that more than a third were aware of attempts to break into their van last year, while almost a quarter actually had tools taken. Emma has posted the CCTV on social media in the hope someone may recognise the thieves. The theft has been reported to police, but the couple feel more could be done to catch these types of criminals.
We did report it online. We got an automated response saying it would be dealt with. I then gathered some more footage, which I uploaded to them and updated them. Then I got another reply saying thank you for the update, but I'm yet to hear anything from them.
Thames Valley Police say they are investigating the theft and are sorry to hear the victims are not happy with the service offered by the force. They, along with the couple, are urging anyone with information to come forward. Mel Blore, ITV News, Thatcham.
A man who abused his position as a housing officer to gain access to a woman's home in Ascot before sexually assaulting her has been convicted. 47-year-old Carl Douglas Button attacked the woman in her 50s in July 2019. He was found guilty by a majority verdict at Reading Crown Court. Button is due to be sentenced next month.
Police want to speak to 2 women following an assault at a bar in Reading. A woman in her 40s had to be taken to hospital after an incident in the early hours of Tuesday the 18th of March at B1 in Gun Street. Anyone who recognised the women in these CCTV images is asked to contact police.
Almost 14,000 people in the Thames Valley have been victims of fraud or cybercrime in the last 13 months. It's according to data from Action Fraud. The government has set out plans to reduce scams by 10% by 2025. It includes creating a 400-strong fraud squad and requiring mass text messaging services to be registered.
We're working with tech companies, with telecom companies, to stop the kind of scams and spoofs that we're seeing coming into our email boxes or onto our phones as text messages. We're empowering the police. We're making sure they've got more resources. We're working to alert people to the kind of frauds, so-called phishing frauds, where people are lured in to click on a link or to send money to a site. So that is what we're doing to make sure that fraud goes down by 10% in the United Kingdom.
Online scams certainly are always on the increase, and they are the hardest ones to try and stop. So it's really important that online scams are being tackled. And it's really important as well that we remember that it's not just about the financial harm to consumers, but also the psychological harm that comes with being scammed.
Voters in the Thames Valley go to the polls tomorrow for the local elections. It's the biggest test of public opinion since Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister.
Well, for all the parties, it's a sort of dry run for the next general election, which could be just 12 months away. Lots of our councils have elections. Our political correspondent Phil Hornby has been looking at some of the key battlegrounds for us.
It's a big set of elections, nowhere more so than in the Thames Valley. In some places, a third of council seats are up for grabs. In others, every seat is being fought. The leaders of the main political parties will, of course, be watching closely. Labour and the Lib Dems hoping to smash the so-called blue wall and take seats from the Tories. The Conservatives trying to hold on as best they can in their traditional heartland. Swindon has always been a key battleground, traditionally a two-horse race between the Conservatives and Labour. Just 6 Labour gains and they take the council, which is why Sir Keir Starmer came here for his big national campaign launch. Labour are hoping to make gains in Hampshire too, in places like Basingstoke and Dean. And they're looking to strengthen their grip in Reading, where they already control the council. Elsewhere, look at the numbers in Wokingham, and here you can see it's the Lib Dems who are looking to make a real breakthrough. And also in West Berkshire, that's around Newbury. If they do well, they could take control of the council. They're also targeting True Blue Surrey Heath, where Michael Gove is the local MP, and hoping for gains in Charwell and South Oxfordshire too. Now, don't forget independent candidates who aren't attached to a political party. They're winning more seats these days and in some places can have a big influence on the final results. Like all governments in mid-term, the Conservatives are resigned to losing some seats. The question is how many? For them, it's a case of damage limitation. And for all of us, a big change in these elections. For the first time, you'll have to have photo ID with you when you go to the polling station. No ID, or the wrong ID, no vote.
Phil Hornby with all the details there. A reminder that polls open at 7 a.m.
Now there are extra police officers, both armed and unarmed, patrolling Windsor as security has stepped up ahead of the King's coronation. Officers and police dogs have been searching drains, phone boxes and bins in the town centre to protect the public. The force is asking people to remain vigilant and report anything suspicious.
Now you're watching ITV News Meridian in the Thames Valley. Still to come on the programme this evening, changing lives through rugby. The programme giving young people the skills they need to avoid getting caught up in crime. And a sea of red, white and blue, the street that's ready to party. But residents got a little more bunting than they bargained for. I think it looks really pretty. Can you have too much bunting? Never. I'm not sure you can have too much bunting. I agree with you. We'll discuss it later. More on all our stories today, of course, on our website. The details on the screen. itv.com/Meridian as ever is the address. You can call us. 0808 1010 095 is the phone number. And if you'd like to find us on social media, we are on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram. Before we go coronation crazy, kind of, we thought we'd get some sports news now. Andrew, I'm going to let Matt do this bit because you're the cricket expert. There is a superstar in the region and he's it's a little bit controversial. I thought you meant me. Oh, no, there's another superstar in the region and this one plays cricket.
Yeah, obviously not as big a star as Sangeeta, but this one, getting a bit of cheeky prep ahead of the Ashes, isn't he? Yes, I mean, Australian superstar Steve Smith says he can't wait for his Sussex debut tomorrow and has denied he's only joined the club to prepare for next month's Ashes here in England. The Aussie batter will play for Sussex in 3 county championship games starting at Worcestershire. The Sussex head coach, Paul Farbrace, tried to sign Smith while he was in charge at Kent. 15 years later, he's finally got his man.
It's nice to know sort of some familiar faces. I've known Farby for a very long time, so him being involved in the setup, certainly made the decision easier to come here. But I've always wanted to play some county cricket. It's my first time, which is probably hard to believe. But I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks. I've met all the boys, seemed like a great bunch, and my first training session went really well.
warming up to be a big summer. Now, former Oxford United manager Carl Robinson is back in football, this time in the Premier League. 3 months after being sacked by the U's, Robinson will now assist Sam Allardyce at relegation-threatened Leeds United for the last 4 matches of the season. Former Southampton assistant Sammy Lee would have been helping Allardyce, as he has for England and several other clubs, but can't, as he's on jury service. Non-league Worthing face a crucial match tonight as they aim for a second consecutive promotion. They're hosting Braintree in a playoff quarter-final, with their sights firmly set on playing in the National League for the first time ever. The winners of tonight's match will travel to Oxford City for Sunday's semi-final. Now, primary schools in Brighton have come together to play rugby and talk about the dangers of county lines gangs and knives. The initiative comes amid fears criminals are increasingly grooming youngsters to help them sell drugs, as children are less likely to be stopped by police. The Rugby for Change programme is hoping to equip them with the skills to avoid the dangers of crime. Andy Dickinson has more.
Zero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
These children being schooled not just in sport, but the tactics criminals use to target youngsters. And from those in the know, Hamid groomed as a drug dealer and stabbed by the time he was just 17, now a rugby coach.
I was kind of lost. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have no aspirations, no real guidance. I was just fending on my own, and then eventually I got coerced into selling drugs, and then that's how my life changed in a flash. We've got to start as young as possible to prevent all these stuff. So they're in year 6, so they're going to pass over to year 7, and that's when literally they start meeting older kids from 16 to 18 and start targeting at McDonald's or skate parks or theme parks or even the local barber shops. So just to plant the seeds and have to be aware of the dangers around county lines and knife crime and stuff like that. So that's what we really had to help them about.
Learning about to be safe.
Honestly, it's really scary knowing that you're always vulnerable and there are some people out there who can really hurt you. But if you stay careful and listen to certain rules, then you can be safe.
As with everything, we encourage them, if these things are talked about and actually out in the open, that it actually then equips them to discuss, talk things through and actually be prepared for knowing what they can do and who's there to help them. That common language and that common experience of sport is always really powerful to bring the children together, and it's fantastic to see them all just having such a great time together and really, really very enthusiastic.
Brighton being a hotspot for county lions, so we thought, why not come down here, speak to these young kids, because most gangs will be looking for young kids to exploit them, literally taken from their families, and if a gang really gets involved with them and they're offering them money, clothes, that's what they mainly do. They might offer them a chicken and chips or some clothing, and that's when once they're in, it's really hard to get yourself out of that.
The hope is that by mixing together these children from different schools will make friends that will help them tackle any dangers heading their way, winning not just at touch rugby, but life. Andy Dickinson, ITV News, Brighton.
Top job by all.
You're pretty good yourself, Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the ITV Evening News continues, of course, with the national and international stories at 6:30. With the details tonight, here's Charlene White.
Coming up, security ramps up in the capital ahead of Saturday's Coronation. Last night, a rehearsal of the procession took place. Now, officers reveal the scale of the policing operation. We'll have the details. A 14-year-old in Serbia kills 8 children at a primary school shooting. And we have a special report looking back on the life of the country's future queen, Camilla, and her path to royalty. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
And as you heard there, in just a few days' time, a cacophony of chimes will be heard right across the region to mark the coronation.
Well, for hundreds of years, bells have rung out to welcome parishioners to church or to celebrate a wedding or a special occasion. But nationally, there's a shortage of bell-ringing people power.
Many churches have been looking for new volunteers to take part in the Ring for the King campaign, and it's hoped the recruitment drive will also secure the art of bell ringing for generations to come.
Well, Juliet Fletcher joins us from St Mary's Church in Twyford this evening. Juliet, no shortage there, it doesn't look like, of willing volunteers anyway.
No, indeed. I'm with a wonderful band of bell ringers here from St Mary's Church at Twyford in Berkshire. We're going to hear from them in just a few minutes playing live, but the bells here have been here for 110 years. Recruitment has been a problem in recent years for obvious reasons. They're now up to full capacity, and I went along to a practice one Friday evening to see how they were getting on and see how they were keeping it very much in the family.
Bit lower than that, not quite as high.
Emily is just 9 years old and already has the bell ringing bug.
So you're one of our younger learners. What do you like about ringing?
It's just something I enjoy.
It's good.
And it gets me away from my brothers.
Excellent.
In fact, many of the new ringers here at St Mary's are starting early. Grace here is the youngest at 6, and Olivia is learning the ropes from her dad, Richard.
Keeping the rope straight. And are you looking forward to ringing for the King's coronation?
Yes.
Yeah.
On May the 6th, St Mary's will be joined by churches all over the country, sounding their bells for the coronation.
When people are watching on the TV, they're going to see the procession and they're going to hear the bells of Westminster Abbey ringing out across London. But also, in the background, they're going to hear their village bells as well, the village church bells. And from the smallest village church up to the mightiest cathedral, the bell ringers are all going to be playing our part on an equal basis to celebrate this.
I feel like it will be a good part in history, and I feel like it would be a privilege to do it, and I don't want to miss out.
Make sure to go straight to the ready position again. Go again.
It's a very sociable activity that doesn't require great strength, but a good sense of rhythm is an advantage. Seasoned ringer Matthew has been training up his mum Lizzie.
I've been learning to teach as my sort of next step in bell ringing, and I needed someone to teach, so I taught my dad, and then Mum decided she wanted to learn as well.
Well, sometimes I think I'm doing all right, and then I go backwards, which is probably the age I'm learning at.
Yeah, she's doing good.
The ringers practice every Friday evening, and it's hoped the newest recruits will help preserve the art form for the future.
So the King's big day.
Well, lots of promising new recruits there. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the bells here, actually, at St Mary's. There are 8 bells in the tower. They were put in 1913, and they play an octave in F sharp. Now, they range in weight, but the heaviest one is a hefty 600 kilos. I think you can see them in action there now, can't you? Now, this heaviest bell is being rung today by Richard, who joins me now. Richard, it sounds like it must be quite a workout for you.
It's not too bad. It can be, though, if you do a full peal, which takes about 3 hours. But it's fine on the lighter bells.
So you don't really need to go to the gym on those days then?
No, ringing's for everyone.
Great, so the lighter bells are much easier to manage, and you don't have to be particularly strong.
No, even my 9-year-old daughter's had a go, so if she can ring it, anyone can.
Brilliant. Well, they obviously ring for church services and at weddings and special occasions, but of course the focus this weekend is very much on the coronation, when the bells here will be rung in the Ring for the King project, joined by churches from all over the country. And I'm told there are 38,000 bells that could potentially be joining in with that same project. So Simon is with me again now. He's the tower captain. Simon, you've been ringing for a very long time, haven't you?
I've been a ringer for 36 years now.
And why is it you like it so much?
I've made some amazing friends from all over the world, and for me it's been a wonderful, challenging lifetime's journey of discovery.
So why do you think it's so important then that we carry on with this, that we take it forward?
So ringing is this wonderful folk art which goes back to the time of Shakespeare, and it's part of our national soundscape.
And you're going to be ringing on Saturday, along with all the other churches. You've got a free rein, haven't you, as to what you ring. What are you going to be doing?
Well, today we're going to keep it simple and ring rounds on 6 bells. Maybe it's a bit more complicated on Saturday.
Rounds on 6 bells. OK, great. Well, we look forward to hearing it. I think it's about time now that we do that. I'll move out of the way. And I've got Naomi over here who's going to start us off and ring us out.
Look 2, trebles going, she's gone.
I was going to thank Juliet, but the chances of her hearing me at this point, I think, are very small indeed. But that was good. I enjoyed that.
I love that. Yeah, part of our national soundscape. I like
really
that.
Good.
So, whether you'll be toasting the king from the top of a bell tower in front of the TV at home or raising a glass at a street party, there's one neighbourhood in Hampshire that really is going all out.
Just a bit. Yes, this is Selsey Avenue in Gosport, where the bunting has been going up. All 4,500 metres of it.
Yeah, that's the spirit. The residents transformed the road into a sea of red, white and blue for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee last summer, and they've done it again. But organisers say it all happened by accident.
For the Jubilee, there was 12 of us that ordered 4 10-metre lengths for £20. When it turned up, it wasn't 4 10-metre lengths, it was 40 10-metre lengths. That's why we were able to do what we've done. So we were swarming in bunting. So we
cornered the world market in bunting.
100%, this is the best decorated street in the county.
And I second that.
There was a little boy who come down, he was crying, and his mum brings him down here to stop him crying.
We're all patriotic down here, and we all get on well, which is the nucleus of the whole street. We all get on well, and we work well together.
Looks great, and that will certainly help get the party started. And for many school children, the party has already begun as pupils have been taking part in all sorts of events. Many using the coronation not just as a celebration, but as a fun way to learn as well.
Christine Alsford has been finding out how the classrooms with the Royal Connection have been preparing.
When our King and Queen come through, I would love you to start waving your flags.
When your school is called King's Academy, the first coronation in more than 70 years means pushing the boat out.
Hip hip hooray for the King and Queen!
And at College Park in Portsmouth, they're celebrating by laying on everything from a royal procession in the playground to learning a very special song in the classroom.
It's a really important moment in time in terms of history for our children, and actually for them to hold on to it and remember it in the way that they should remember it.
And there's no doubt that pupils here feel part of the special celebrations.
There's not been a king since King George VI. Yeah. And so I'm really excited about it.
He'll be a good king, and as he's the first king in my lifetime.
Queen Elizabeth was a great ruler, and I think King Charles will be too.
The learning opportunities are endless, of course. The curriculum specially adapted to make use of coronation creativity, literacy and numeracy.
I am done.
Yours is done. It's absolutely brilliant, lovely. There is so much work to be done to get ready for a coronation. Not only are there flags to finish, but there are the crowns to prepare, of course, complete with pipe leaders and jewels. And then you should be extremely skilled in making cucumber sandwiches. So guys, what do we have to do here?
So you've got to take a piece of bread, spread some butter on.
And it doesn't end there. Everyone finding out what's involved in organising the fun.
So, Olivia, this is a list of everything that you need for a good party. What is on the list?
Party hat, some cups, some cake, jelly.
And which is your favourite thing on the list? Jelly. Do you like jelly?
At the Queen Elizabeth II Silver Jubilee School at Horsham, pupils with learning difficulties and complex needs are preparing a special dance to perform. The title of the track they chose, King, of course, selected from a special list drawn up by the palace.
So we've been looking at different genres of music, and we're really excited that a king is going to be crowned. So we looked through his playlist for the coronation and we picked the song, and we just started working together as a team to create the dance.
The name of their school may commemorate a royal past, but they're looking to the future now too, and the start of a new era and reign.
Mark, are you excited to have a king?
Yeah.
Yeah, King Charles.
King Charles.
Well done.
Generations of school children have spent their entire education with only one monarch on the throne. The chance for these young pupils to see a new king crowned will create memories that for many will last a lifetime. Christine Osford, ITV News.
Yeah, well done, everybody. Fantastic singing.
Well done indeed. I mean, they had us at jelly, to be honest, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Definitely.
They're so cute.
Let's talk about the weather now. Pip joins us in the studio. I've got to ask the question. What's it going to be like at the weekend?
Yeah, well, what we're pretty certain of is it's going to be unsettled. What we're not quite so certain of at this stage is the exact timings. But let's take a look at the pressure sequence over the next few days. So tomorrow's looking pretty decent, but this is the situation on Friday. The potential for quite a few showers. Some of them could be heavy and thundery. For Coronation Day itself, this is midday on Saturday as we see it at the moment. So a front moving in, the potential for a persistent spell of rain. Sunday, hopefully a return to at least some sunshine and showers, and then another batch of rain moving in from the west on Monday. But it's not all bad. Where the sun comes out, it'll actually feel quite warm.
And if I did fancy some bank holiday lawn mowing?
I'd say don't do it. I'd say don't do it. We're in May, otherwise known as No Mow May. Now, this is an annual campaign started by the conservation charity Plant Life some 5 years ago. And it really just encourages us to keep our lawnmowers locked away until June. The benefits are many and varied. So firstly, a nice wild lawn with some weeds and wildflowers provides a vital food source for pollinators. And also the plants that occur in the lawn can actually absorb some pollution and store it as carbon under the ground. So it's a win-win situation. And if you don't have your own lawn, you don't need to miss out. You can perhaps consider a space near your workplace or even in your local community. So as I say, win-win, benefits for the environment and one less thing to do in the garden.
Or I guess if you don't have your own lawn, you could not mow somebody else's, couldn't you? And then everyone's happy. Don't mow your neighbour's lawn.
I don't even know where my lawnmower is. Here's the weather now. Here's Pip.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Well, it's been a pretty decent day out there today. A good deal of sunshine and warm in that sunshine as well. More of the same tomorrow and then things will start to go downhill. So for the Coronation weekend becoming increasingly unsettled, showers or longer spells of rain on the way. But that is still a few days away. Out there at the moment we're looking at quiet conditions, that continuing through this evening and tonight. Clear spells coming and going, but I suspect enough of a breeze to keep us on the frost-free side. Lows in towns and cities generally between 6 and 9 Celsius, a touch lower in some rural spots by dawn. Tomorrow morning then, a dry start, a bright start, perhaps not quite the sunshine we had today, but nevertheless some really lovely sunny spells coming through, and in the best of that sunshine with a shift in winds round to a southeasterly, it should actually be even a bit warmer than today. Temperatures inland widely 18-19 degrees, locally 20 Celsius in the sunniest spots. Now later in the day we will start to see a few showers moving into the likes of Dorset, and that will pave the way for something altogether more unsettled through the bank holiday weekend. High tide times for tomorrow then for Ventnor there, 1 minute past 11 in the morning and then again 11:21 in the evening. So here come those showers pushing their way in from the southwest overnight into Friday. And for Friday itself, I think we'll have a mixture of sunny spells and showers throughout. Some of those showers on the heavy side, the risk of a few rumbles of thunder. And then for Coronation Day itself, thickening cloud and rain piling in from the southwest. That will clear to showers on Sunday. And then for Bank Holiday Monday, potentially another spell of cloudy and wet weather on the way.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And you're up to date in just a moment. The ITV Evening News here with Charlene White. I have your late update at the later time of 10:50 this evening.
That is it from us for the time being. We're off to mow no one's lawn whatsoever
Never, ever.
in May.
In
Have
May.
a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.